So, Ginger,
Yeah?
you know how we wanted to start a podcast, but we were having trouble coming up with a topic?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my pitch. The topic of the podcast is us trying to come up with the topic for the podcast.
What? Like we pitch each other podcast ideas and that's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. We could call it, What Should Our Podcast Be About?
Miles, that's really stupid. Let's do it.
What should this song be about? I'm trying to figure it out. What should this song be about? Could you perhaps help me out? I've had a moment of doubt. What should this song be about? Welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm Miles Grover.
And I'm Ginger Barham.
I have a correction, I guess, sort of from last week.
Okay.
I said that dogs are the animal least likely to want to go to other planets, which wasn't really what I was trying to say, but that's what I ended up saying. But
You owe a correction to all dogs?
well, dogs are one of the few animals that have been to space.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about
the cosmonaut dog.
Right.
And so that is a pretty silly thing to say. What I was really trying to say was that, like, if you think about what an earthling animal is like, or at least like a land animal, I guess, like
Cats are more curious. Like, nobody said dogs wanted to go to space.
No, well, that's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying, like, a dog is a very, very, like, is kind of an exemplary kind of animal for what Earth animals are like.
Yeah.
It's a very, like, Earth-based animal.
I know, but I am saying also, no one asked dogs if they wanted to go to space.
That's true. That's true. And I believe Laika did die in space.
Yeah, so
right?
probably...
It wasn't a great experience.
Based on that.
But it is hard to imagine a cat even, like, I don't know, getting to space. I don't know, being in a spaceship too. I mean, so I don't know.
They'd for sure, like, claw up their little spacesuits.
Yeah. True. Very true.
Just try to get a cat in a spacesuit. Just try it. I dare you.
Yeah. I mean, some people dress their cats up, and I guess the cats are tolerant of it at least.
They're not. They're not.
Little sweaters and stuff.
They don't want it. Unless it's like one of those hairless cats.
Yeah.
Those ones like might need sweaters because they don't have any fur.
Right. They might get cold.
Yeah.
So that's all I have for that. But it just didn't occur to me until later that I was like, oh yeah, there's Laika, of course.
What's the best animal to send to space?
Besides humans?
Yeah.
Like, because they would enjoy it or because we want to get rid of them?
Both.
Like, can we send mosquitoes to space?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think they would get a lot out of it.
What's the worst animal to send to space?
Whale?
Probably a canary.
That's true. They would die.
They're not very hardy.
Like, yeah, birds that will not be able to drink water.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like a blue whale would be bad for very many reasons.
Yeah.
Because, like, every pound or, kilogram or whatever that you send to space is very expensive, and blue whales have the most of those. And also have to be in water.
I think we all know whales wouldn't do well in space.
Yeah, probably not. Oh, well, although unless it's a space whale.
Unless it's a space whale.
Which are like a thing in a lot of fiction.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I wish they were a real thing.
It seems, I guess
it's cool. It's like we could spot space whales with our telescopes.
Yeah. I guess like space is kind of like the sea metaphorically in a lot of stuff. And so it kind of makes sense that there'd be big swimmy guys up there.
Yeah.
And what's the best?
Just that it's like vast.
And yeah. And what's more of a big swimmy guy than a whale?
Right.
They're the ultimate big swimmy guys.
Whales, the ultimate big swimmy guys.
Yep.
Is this a podcast idea?
Yes, but that was the whole podcast. Do you have ideas for the podcast?
I have idea.
Okay. Do you have idea for the podcast?
I have one idea.
Okay.
A single idea.
Okay.
My single idea
Mm-hmm.
is very dumb.
Okay.
And it does not have a title.
Okay.
It is a podcast where you know how like there's all kinds of weird like designer dog breeds.
Okay.
It's a podcast where we come up with new designer dog breeds.
New kinds of dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more cursed, the better.
Okay. Cursed dog breeds. So
Cursed
this is
dog breeds.
again extending on our idea that dogs are art.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Uh-huh. But we want to make the most cursed bad version of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything with the Chinese crested is probably going to be like bad.
Yeah. I mean, they're very ugly. I don't know if they are. I mean, they're certainly cursed in the way that they look, or at least some of them are.
They win the ugliest dog contest like every year.
Yeah. But I don't think they all look that ugly. I think they just can look that ugly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that dog, like that one dog that's like the picture that if you Google ugliest dog ever or whatever,
the
will
one
come
with
up.
the like one discolored eye
And like teeth sticking out everywhere. That dog probably wasn't having a very good life, I would imagine.
Yeah.
In terms of like, its bones working right and its face working right and stuff, like.
Now I'm sad.
Because I feel like that's the most cursed stuff is like.
I was thinking cursed like appearance. Yeah. I wasn't thinking like cursed to a like shitty life.
To exist. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe I'm being a bummer. There's also the cursed fact of like in the UK they've recently banned the XL bully breed, which is like a real big kind of like bulldog offshoot breed, I guess, or something like that.
XL bully is what it's called?
It's called an XL bully. XL's the size. There's different sizes.
Right. No, I got it. It's just weird that we're giving dogs t-shirt sizes.
Yeah. Well, no, they're big and they're strong enough that like you can't stop them if they decide to eat you. And they have eaten like children and shit. Like
holy fuck.
Yeah. There's like a big problem with them. Like just like even if they're a nice dog, they just decide to do like they just snap or something and you can't stop them because they're so strong and vicious and stuff, whatever.
Yeah, we should stop breeding things that could kill us.
Yeah. I generally am like, not necessarily into the idea that a breed is necessarily like destiny of that dog being a bad dog or whatever.
Yeah,
but if it's a breed,
I agree
like,
with that because every couple of years, I feel like it's a different dog breed that kind of gets demonized.
Yeah,
but
which like has maybe some validity, maybe some less validity. But in this case, like the majority of all like dog fatalities and injuries in the UK, I think that year were from this one breed.
Yeah.
Or at least like about half. And there are obviously tons of different breeds of dogs. And they were like real bad. And it's just like a breed that doesn't need to exist. People have just bred it to be like super strong and aggressive and stuff.
It's you were so obsessed with whether or not you didn't stop to think of if you should.
Right. Yeah. And I think they're bred for like protection or whatever, I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
No.
That's the excuse anyway, but
yeah,
I
mean
they're not, yeah.
It's like it's arguably like just morally shitty to make something that is a sentient creature that is dangerous enough that it can't be allowed to exist. So
right.
You've conjured this thing into being that now you have to kill.
That's a whole like Star Trek kind of existential crisis they would have a Star Trek episode about or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they just like, I mean, I don't want to get too into it because I read a bunch of stories of like what these dogs like. There was like a dog walker that was like walking a bunch of people's dogs and they had them stay at their house for a little while and it like decided to kill that person. Like a lot of people have died from these and it's just.
Wow, that's
horrific. That's okay, a bummer way that podcast
this is the tone of the podcast this week.
That podcast shouldn't be that, probably.
Sorry if you came here for a good time, everyone.
Yeah, now you get to find out about killer dogs. Like, yeah, it's a real bummer. So,
like we needed more things.
So what would be
we needed to invent more things to make the world bad.
Yeah. Well, that's what your idea was, but just in a different way.
I meant it lighthearted. I don't actually think that we should,
Okay, so let's get away from the real bummer that I brought up and talk more about what you were
I personally love weird looking things.
Sure.
Like I watched Lord of the Rings and I was like, I want a golem.
Okay. I feel like maybe you didn't totally get the message of the movies, but yeah, okay.
I mean, he's the best part of Lord of the Rings.
I guess so.
I love him. I love his big buggy eyes.
Big Andy Serkis fan.
Yeah. But yeah, so my idea is like kind of we can make some dogs that are like horrific, but also kind of adorable.
Right. Okay. So it would be like a Chihuahua, but with like a Dalmatian head, a full-size Dalmatian head.
Yeah.
or
How do we
something.
do that?
Or like, I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine weird ways to combine dogs or something. I think I mentioned my dog that I had growing up in maybe some previous episodes. His name was Petey. He was a Dalmatian Beagle Dachshund.
I'm trying to picture what that would look like.
So he was kind of wiener doggish, but like a bit thicker, and he had floppy ears, but black and white spots, and he was like, yeah, he was cute. He was a weird little puppy dog.
I feel like crossing anything with a dachshund is gonna make it like weird and cursed looking.
Mm-hmm.
But that does also like mean physically cursed as well, because dachshunds have a lot of back problems.
Okay, what about an ultra dachshund?
You know what? Just pause on dachshunds for a second.
Okay.
I want to know, like, who decided it was a good idea?
What, dachshunds?
Who was like, you know what dogs need? To be lower, to flatter to the ground and stretched out.
I'm pretty sure that they're like for catching weasels or something like that. They're like for going in holes.
Okay.
Like, I think that's why different dogs are the way they are. Like most of them are for some reason. Like previously they were. Nowadays, like this podcast idea, people just breed them to be weird.
So they bred a dog that was more weasel-like to catch weasels.
I think so. Something like that. I don't know if that's...
And nobody was like...
They were like, we got to get rid of these weasels. Thank heavens for these little weasel dogs.
Yeah, nobody was like, maybe we're just making more weasels, though?
But they control the weasels in that case.
Yeah.
They're loyal weasels. Sort of.
Why not just train the weasels? Why not just train the weasels, Jerry?
We had a big head start on dogs being trained. Domesticating a whole new species just because you've got a weasel problem is maybe more difficult. Probably easier just to be like, oh, this dog can kind of go in holes. Let's have more of those.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, not to bring the podcast tone down again, but like if the easier path is annihilation, is it the better path?
You're saying that wiener dogs are annihilation?
No, it's killing weasels.
No, that's what they wanted to do.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if we found a way to work with the weasels instead of immediately trying to kill them?
I don't actually know if it was weasels exactly. I feel like it was just things in burrows, and I don't know why they were trying to kill them. If it was because they were pests or because they were trying to like make hats out of them or something. Like, I don't know the story. I'm just pretty sure that that's why dachshunds are like that, is to go in holes to catch things.
Yeah.
I can't speak to the like other implications of what they could have done differently. If what you want is a hat made out of a weasel, you can't really work with the weasels on that.
Right. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you just shouldn't want a hat made out of a weasel.
Well, maybe you're really cold and weasels have the best hat fur or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not particularly in favor of weasel hat. I mean, in this day and age, we live in a world where you can easily make a warm hat out of stuff that doesn't require killing any weasels.
But I feel like that's been the case for a long time. Like, wool has been around for a long time.
Wool has been around for a long time, but wool doesn't have necessarily the same properties. Like, beaver pelts were good for making stuff out of because they're specific properties. They're waterproof and they're warm and maybe easier to make. Like, maybe you don't have a place where you can, keep sheep or whatever. Like, sheep can't live everywhere.
That's true.
So like hundreds of years ago, it's not that weird. It's not like unreasonable to kill animals for fur and eat them and stuff. Now we live in a world where that's not really necessary and it's mostly just cruel and unnecessary. But like,
yeah,
I'm not going to get down on hundreds of years ago reasons people might have been killing animals, right? Like, we weren't as dominant of a species in the planet, in the past. Anyway, weasels.
So anyway, weasels.
So okay, but back to the idea.
Is that a podcast? So anyway, weasels.
Maybe. It's like a podcast where we're trying to talk about weasels, but we keep getting off on other topics.
I feel like people like immediately have bad feelings when you say weasel, but weasels are super cute.
They're pretty cute. They're kind of vicious, I feel like.
One of my favorite moments, maybe in like my whole life, was when I got to show Svetlana a weasel for the first time. because she didn't know what a weasel looked like. And I was like, oh, you're going to love this. And I Googled a weasel and we were on the train and she was so excited.
Yeah.
She awed for at least a full minute.
Well, okay, so what's cute about weasels is how long they are. And so if you're making dachshunds long dogs, that's pretty cute.
Yeah, but I think
dachshunds are kind of cute.
But no, I'm not saying dachshunds aren't cute. I'm just saying we've cursed them because they have like all kinds of skeletal problems.
Yeah.
Weasels have probably like evolved
More
to be that
adapted
way
for
over
that.
time, and
Yeah.
I don't hear about weasels having lots of back problems, so
I'm not in any
they're
weasel
very
support
twisty,
groups.
flexible in ways that dachshunds aren't.
Yeah, I'm not in any weasel support groups, so I don't know if I would hear about it if they had a lot of back problems.
Are there weasel support groups? Because I want to join.
I don't know.
I will dress up like a weasel.
Okay, so we're back to your fursona, our fursona episode
Yes.
idea. Okay, but if we get back to our dog design idea, what about an ultra dachshund that is just longer and longer?
Well, but that's physically cursing.
We gotta ignore the real world implications.
We gotta ignore science.
We gotta ignore the real world like suffering of different dog breeds, or else this is a complete bummer of a podcast. So we can't do it. Right? Like it would be horrible for a Chihuahua to have a full size Dalmatian head too, right? It would fall over and stuff. Yeah, right. But it'd be funny and cursed, and that's the idea, I think, right?
Yeah.
So like a 8 foot long dachshund.
Oh my god, that's
it's like
horrific.
a snake dog.
A snake dog. What about a like really tall dog?
Okay, tall dog.
Like, could we like
a
engineer
Irish wolfhound.
greyhounds to have even longer legs?
Yeah, isn't that like Irish wolfhounds basically? They're like
longer,
taller, so like an 8 foot tall dog.
Yeah,
but it's all legs.
It's all legs.
Okay, I like that.
You can only get one if you have really tall ceilings.
Right. Tall doors and stuff.
Tall doors. People got to
Does it have like
build barns for their dogs.
Does it have like extra joints in its legs?
Yes, ideally.
That's more cursed. Probably more difficult to engineer.
Extra joints in its toes too. It's got really long toes.
Okay.
We've crossed it with like one of those guys with the long fingers.
Oh, an eye.
An eye, yeah.
Those are very cursed animal. I think they're even more cursed than they like. That finger is very cursed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw a video or something of one recently. I was like, they're just awful.
Yeah, there's one
awful
actually
looking, and
that John Cleese I think narrates.
Oh, is there?
Where he's talking about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like lots of night vision. It's like they look great in night vision.
Yeah.
It's like seriously something out of a nightmare.
Yeah, their eyes are huge and creepy. Anyway,
yeah,
that's all off the topic of our designer dogs.
But Google it if you've never seen one.
Yeah, they're creepy. Should we put a pin in designer dogs and come back to it if we want?
Yes.
You talked about that more. Okay.
What do you got? What are you bringing to the table this week?
Okay, so I am subscribed to the podcasting subreddit, which is for like podcasters to talk about podcasting stuff.
Makes sense.
Right? And we do that, so that's why I'm there. And there was a post recently, which was, if you had $350,000 to make a video podcast with the aim of getting 1 million subs, how would you do it? And the reason I mention it is because the top voted answer was number 1, hire a well-endowed woman with a sultry voice for $100,000 to be the host. Number 2, have her wear very low-cut tops that leave little to the imagination. Number 3, have her read posts from sex/relationship advice subreddits. Number 4, profit. So
this is already making me feel icky.
Yeah, well, so my idea is we do that.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to know.
First, we got to get $100,000, I guess.
So, yeah, so is the idea that I would be the big busted woman? Because I don't want to do that.
I mean, that would save us a lot of money.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have to rustle up $100,000 to find somebody. I mean, unless you wouldn't do it, unless we had $100,000 to give you. Would you?
Are you asking if I would show my like cleavage off to the public for $100,000? Are you asking what my price is?
Maybe. Yes, I guess so. I mean, $100,000 is a pretty solid amount of money.
I mean, I guess you know what? I breastfeed all the time. I'm always pulling my boobs out anyway. I guess I don't have any qualms about it at this point.
Right. Okay. So we'll just become a video podcast, and you'll just be all cleavagey in
and
the
I'm so
camera.
tired. I don't think I have. I don't know if I have a particularly breathy voice.
Just try to do a sultry sentence.
Hello, I'm Jessica Rabbit.
Okay. Interesting. I guess that works. That works. Yeah.
This is the podcast. It's just me saying, hello, I'm Jessica Rabbit over and over again.
That doesn't
Is there
really
an
seem
audience
like a
for that?
podcast.
Is there an audience for that?
The suggestion in the post was to then read Reddit posts from sex advice Reddits.
Hello, I'm Jessica Rabbit. I'm here to give the sex advice. I think I'm sounding less sultry and more serial killer.
You sound either like a serial killer or just an AI that's gotten kind of horny.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess like the AI from Her. You remember that movie?
So I'm her.
You're her, I guess. I guess you're her. So yeah, this is a great idea that I read on Reddit that we should definitely do.
So the lesson is don't go to Reddit for ideas.
Maybe.
All right.
I feel like Reddit is very much it's awful like on a lot of parts of it, but if you're subscribed to good subreddits, they're good. And so it's really kind of a what you cultivate for your...
Is that what it is? Because at one point, you showed me something on Reddit one time. I don't remember what it was. A funny joke or something. Or you talked about a funny Reddit, something like that. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to be on Reddit. And you were like, do you?
Well, so the one problem with it is that you just get signed up for a bunch of default subreddits, like when you create your account, and almost all of those are terrible. But if you do take the time to like find good ones and unsubscribe from bad ones, you can have a pretty good experience. I guess. I don't know. It's a place to go to waste time, basically. So
you did show me the My Reaction When Reddit, and I did enjoy that one.
My face one. I think.
My face one.
Yeah.
I thought it was My Reaction One.
Maybe it is. I can't remember. I actually haven't looked at that one.
That's just ridiculous reaction gifs and.
Oh no! It's the shitty My Reaction one.
Yeah.
Or shitty reaction gifs. I think.
Yeah. So I did enjoy that one.
Yeah, that one's good because people make up really ridiculous things for the gifs to be about, like really literal things. Yeah, it's sort of hard to explain.
And I made one.
Yeah.
And it was wildly popular.
Yeah.
It got upvoted like, I don't know, a lot of times.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And you were like,
I was like, I've beat Reddit. I'm done.
You got a bunch of upvotes, no negative karma, and you won.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable.
I think I did post on there once during the whole Chris Hardwick thing. With Chloe Dykstra. And people on there sucked.
Yeah.
And I did not enjoy that experience.
But if you had posted that on like the feminism subreddit, which I'm a member of, you might have gotten different responses, or lots of various ones. But
yeah,
I think
I just posted it on like the Nerdist one. It was a link to an article that I wrote.
Well, yeah, I would expect that.
And I like to expect better of my fellow humans, whether they are nerds or not.
If you go to the fan Reddit for anybody and try to post something negative, you're probably going to not get good responses.
I mean, Nerdist is like its own thing now.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of people who are fans are going to still be pretty tied up in the idea of Chris Hardwick as part of it.
I suppose so. Anyway, I believe women, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. So
that was that idea.
I think I have proved by my trying to do a sultry voice that I would not be a good candidate for that podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we probably would.
A podcast where I just try to learn how to do a sultry voice.
Okay. Just trying to get more sultry every day.
Yeah. Can you do a sultry voice?
Hello, I'm Jessica Rabbit. Was that sultry?
It sounded kind of bored.
Yeah.
Like you were making fun of Jessica Rabbit. Like, oh, hello, I'm Jessica Rabbit.
Hello, I'm Jessica Rabbit. Yeah, no, We could both try to learn to be sultry, I guess.
A podcast where we try to sound like Jessica Rabbit.
I feel like if we say something and then play like the honking sounds that like wolves make when their eyes go out of their head or whatever, the awoogas and stuff, it would really clue the listener in to know that what we just said was really sultry.
And then a podcast where we just make that sound after everything we say.
Yeah,
honk, honk.
exactly.
Awooga.
Awooga. Yeah.
All right, you got any other bangers?
You said you had one idea. Is that still, did you think of anything else or besides this Jessica Rabbit thing we're doing?
I did not.
You haven't thought anymore. Okay.
I haven't thought of any more because listeners, our ceiling caved in.
Podcast about when your ceiling caves in.
Yeah. So,
Well, it didn't cave in. It got filled with water and they had to rip a hole in it.
Yeah. Well, it was starting to cave in.
It was kind of cave. It was concave for sure.
We had a leak from a roof that was in disrepair. So always thoroughly check the roof before you buy a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lesson learned.
I guess so.
Wish I had learned that lesson from someone else who had bought a house instead of me buying a house.
Well, it's tough because you can't really tell if it's a problem.
Yeah.
Until it's a problem.
But if we had been through this situation, I would have looked at that roof and been like, there's sure a lot of leaves and shit on that roof.
Yeah.
Maybe that has affected the structure of the roof. Also, there was a hole in the roof, but the inspector said it was a hole that didn't affect anything.
Right.
But he was incorrect.
I guess he was wrong. Yeah. Yep. So a podcast about home repairs, home improvement. We've talked about that before a little bit. So we talked before about a bad home improvement advice podcast, which I guess could be like, don't bother checking if your roof is sound. Everything will work out fine.
About a good one I'm hoping that we're not going to become experts on too many more issues in the near future. But right now we could talk about roof repair and ants.
Ants, yeah. And a big freaking hole in the pipe in our bathroom sink.
Oh, yeah, there was a hole in the pipe in the bathroom. Yep. That one I feel like should have been caught.
It must not have been there. It must have gotten worse and I don't know.
It was pretty gross.
It was gross. I don't feel like this podcast is particularly interesting. So
it's very interesting.
Maybe
and
a
exciting.
different idea. Maybe a different idea.
Oh, did you know, listeners, that ants are attracted to toilets? So
if we did toilet talk, we might run into a lot of ants.
Yeah, like if you have an ant problem, like they gather at toilets, and I had to Google to find out why, but apparently ants are attracted to moist areas, which is weird to me. Because we kept finding them in the sink and around the toilet.
Yes, I still don't think this is terribly.
So there's your
interesting
ant
for our
fact.
Podcast.
There's your ant fact.
All right, there's your
of
ant
the day.
fact. I had another idea. Well, so we just watched the show The Curse, the Nathan Fielder show. And the ending was nuts and bonkers and cuckoo bananas. And
and other superlatives.
I don't know. I need to talk to someone about it. And
I've been meaning to Google to see if there's any articles.
I searched for on YouTube and all the videos were very useless. But I didn't try Googling to see articles. There probably are some articles out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But anybody who hasn't seen it probably shouldn't listen because it's a good show. I think.
Are you going to spoil it right now?
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if we should spoil it.
I think we could, unless this is our idea that we run with, I think we could probably avoid spoiling it.
Yeah.
And just say the ending is crazy.
Yeah. Which we didn't know going in. Like, we didn't know anything about it going in, really, other than we heard it was good.
Which I think is probably the way to go into it.
Yeah.
But it certainly went a very unexpected direction at the end.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one of us was sure what to take from it.
Yeah. It's an interesting show because I never knew where it was going.
Yeah.
We never found out who that was driving in that one part. There's a part towards the end where it's like a chunk of the episode is from the vantage point of a car and we can't tell whose car it is.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't know who is in it. And I don't think we ever found out.
Yeah, I don't think we did. I remember it was looked like a blue car, so I assume it was Dougie, but.
Yeah, but we thought it wasn't Dougie. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we could talk about The Curse. That could be our podcast.
Yeah.
I guess. It's only 10 episodes, so it's not like a long-term podcast, probably.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I wonder, do you think there's going to be another season? I don't see how there could be.
Yeah, the videos I watched all were like the first season of The Curse, but like, where would you possibly go?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be a totally different thing in the second, if there was a second season of it, which I guess could be. There's shows like that, right? But
yeah,
I don't know. We should watch his other show, Nathan For You, I think it's called.
Yeah.
We should watch that probably.
Yeah. Highly also recommend watching
The Rehearsal.
The Rehearsal if you haven't seen it. It will make you just start to question
reality a little bit.
But it's pretty good.
Guy makes interesting shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like fun exactly, but they're quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one idea. We could talk more about that if that's what we decide to do. But let's see what else I've got. A podcast where we explain how to put together Lego sets.
That's not anything.
That's like, well, it's along the lines
it's like
of
Lego instructions.
Yeah, it's like
here's how you build a snail.
Now you get the red one and it's 2x4 and you click that to the skinny black piece on the top side. It's basically like the time when I tried to read comics on the podcast, but way worse.
You just came at me for my home improvement podcast idea being boring. I just want to point out.
Yeah, but your home improvement podcast wasn't intensely boring like this idea. This idea is so boring that it's funny again, right?
Is it?
I mean, we're not going to do it.
You might want to ask some people.
We're not going to do it. Right. But it's a funny idea for a podcast because it's so boring. Home improvement podcasts, I'm sure there are tons of those.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I didn't know they all had to be funny.
They don't all have to be funny, but they have to be something.
It's something.
Something interesting.
It's something. I gave a very interesting ant fact.
They are into toilets, I
Literally.
guess. Yes.
Literally.
Another idea is trying to remember what I meant when I wrote this. And it says, give me your teeth.
We try to figure out what Miles' podcast idea was when he noted down, give me your teeth.
So I think, actually, I'm sort of remembering, I think it was two different things. One is just a podcast about teeth and tooth stuff in general. I don't know. We could have dentists on to talk about brushing your teeth or whatever, I guess.
Way more exciting than my home improvement podcast.
That one's along the lines of your home improvement podcast. But the other idea was just like creepy stuff, saying creepy things, like
coming up with uses for teeth.
Maybe. I was thinking like there's a number of songs and stories and things like that I enjoy because they're written to be real creepy. Right, like They Might Be Giants have a song called I'm Your Boyfriend Now, which is about somebody reading an author's book and then like finding their house and letting them know that they're your boyfriend now. They're the author's boyfriend now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I read your book, but then it took a year to find your house. Like, it's a creepy stalker song, but it's sung it's like kind of an upbeat song. It's kind of funny and whatever.
Yeah.
I just enjoy stuff like that. Or like the Vandals have a song called I'll Make You Love Me.
So you like creepy stalker songs, is what you're saying.
There's creepy stalker stuff. That's just one kind of creepy that's coming to mind at the moment, right? But Give Me Your Teeth is
I think our listeners are learning a lot about you right now.
I find those things funny. The Give Me Your Teeth thing was a thing that Zach Oyama said on Game Changer.
I think I vaguely
Make
recall
Some Noise
that.
Or something like that. Give me your teeth, he said at some point.
Yeah.
Give me your teeth.
So the idea is just, I don't know, it's not a fully formed idea, I guess, but it's got a good title and something about creepy stuff and or teeth.
Should we discuss the ideas that we've discussed and see if there's one we want to talk more about?
Sure. I'm not feeling super jazzed about anything so far. Well, actually, the designer dog thing
I'm
is
not
pretty
feeling
good.
super jazzed about anything either.
In life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I am feeling pretty good. We talked about designer dogs.
I mean, I think that's probably
coming
the
up
winner,
with cursed
honestly.
dogs. Yeah. And did we have a title for it? We didn't, right? Dog designer dogs.
No, we didn't come up with a title yet.
Okay.
I think we should put a pin in the title.
Okay.
Metaphorically, not literally.
I don't know how we literally would put a pin in it.
Just pin it to the wall. There's a wall next to us.
There's a wall, but the sound is not pinnable. The sound of voices making mouth sounds
You
is
gotta
not
write it on a
printable.
piece of paper and pin it to the wall.
And then crumple it up and throw it away. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's hear your top dog. Your top dog design.
Okay. I quite like the idea of like extremely tall greyhounds.
Yeah, okay. That's a good start.
I think that's a good one.
But I think we can sexy it up a little.
Sexy it up. I don't want to make a sexy dog.
No, that was a reference to that Patrick Stewart skit about erotic cakes.
Okay.
Doesn't really make sense.
Erotic,
but
isn't it?
They're like, we wanted a cake with two guys having sex on it, but this is a cake with a woman peeing. And he's like, yeah, I guess you could say I sexied it up for you.
All of his cakes are just women on toilets.
Yeah, just women peeing.
One of the best Patrick Stewart things ever.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I did a clip of it in a previous episode, but
oh right, yeah, I'm not surprised we've talked about this skit before. Yeah. We both love this skit.
No, but I just mean like, there's like a term that they have at like Pixar for like, upsizing or plus upping or something, like making like take a good thing and then like, okay, what can we do to make
level
it
up?
Something like that. What can we do to make a tall greyhound more interesting, cursed, funny, whatever?
Well, I said like give it really long toes.
Long toes. So the thing about that is I think a dog's foot already is its toes. Like at least on its back leg. You know how the back leg goes kind of backwards?
Look, I can design
toes.
This dog
okay.
how we're not bringing science into it.
That's true. No realistic stuff, I guess.
So
okay.
Elongate the toes.
Okay. So are you thinking they're just like long and floppy on the ground? Like the leg touches the ground and then come long?
Spider-like, I'm picturing.
Oh, like the
like
eye.
Yeah, like they have lots of knuckles and so they curl up when they walk.
Oh yeah.
So their feet kind of look like spiders skittering around.
Okay. Actually, that is very similar to those tall foxes I made in my cursed Minecraft mod. Yeah.
Yes.
I made a cursed mod thing for Minecraft at one point. Had really tall foxes whose legs bent up in real weird ways and stuff.
Yeah, those were excellent. Yeah, this would be along those lines.
Yeah, okay. What about like...
What do you got?
Well, I was just going to say, could we...
Or are you going to improve my greyhound more?
Yeah, I mean, could we... What if it had a St. Bernard head instead of a greyhound head?
Well...
Or like, what's a good... Like, what are good things we could do?
What if it had a Chihuahua head?
Okay.
Like a freakishly tiny head.
What if it had one on both ends?
Well,
I guess a problem with this is that there's no limit. What if it was just 100 Chihuahua heads with legs sticking out? That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's
What
like
if we gave it 3 Chihuahua heads, so like a Cerberus kind of situation?
Yeah, Cerberus. I was gonna say what I said is kind of like a biblically accurate Chihuahua. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What have I got? What's a good dog?
Well, you already talked about like a dachshund.
Ultra dachshund that's very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing about your creepy tall greyhound was it had multiple joints in its legs too, as I recall.
Yes.
You said earlier, right?
Yeah, basically like as many like joints as possible. Extra knuckles.
Why are joints and knuckles like creepy?
I don't know. You know, there's a Stephen King story, like a short story in one of his books, that literally the story is just this guy alone in a bathroom and this finger starts coming out of the drain and it's just like more and more knuckles. And it's a really creepy story.
That's real creepy, yeah.
Nothing else really happens in it. Like that's all that happens.
That's enough.
But it's enough, yeah. It's like stuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. I'll pick a sort of random dog out of my mind. I'm going to my mind palace and I'm spinning a wheel of dogs.
I had a mind palace.
I don't usually, but I just decided to have one for right now.
Yeah.
I guess because you have the aphantasia thing.
Yeah, I can't decide to have a mind palace. Oh, a podcast. I'm going to note that down for later. A podcast about aphantasia.
Okay. Okay, Shar-Pei. Very wrinkly dog. Mm-hmm. Shar-Pei.
Could we give it more wrinkles?
Ultra Shar-Pei. Way more wrinkles.
The wrinkles have wrinkles?
The wrinkles have wrinkles, and those have wrinkles and folds. And It kind of just looks
So
like
instead of being like really loose wrinkles, would it just be like tight, like tinfoil or crinkly or something?
maybe like a brain or like or something like that, like folds and wrinkles. And no, actually, I think it should be like real, like even more loose, like wrinkles flopping everywhere. Like it looks like a big, like, I don't know, mop or something, but instead of like fur, it's like it's
Like
skin.
it used to be bigger, but it deflated.
Like a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. And
Like it was really big and lost a lot of weight way too quickly.
right, like really big though.
Yeah.
Like way more skin than any dog should have.
Does it like trip over its skin?
Oh yeah, it just kind of rolls around.
So it's
You
incapacitated.
can't even find its feet because they're trapped in the wrinkles.
So I'm picturing like when Shih Tzus have really long hair, except it's just all wrinkles,
But it's
just
skin. Yeah.
It's like a Shih Tzu, but with skin instead of fur.
Right. Yeah. Like one of those like frizzy kind of dogs or whatever.
That's horrific.
But with skin.
Can you see its eyes?
No, and it can't see anything either.
Oh.
Maybe it has some kind of flap-based echolocation.
You lift it up and it's just like white eyes.
under there. It's like a cave beast or something. Cave fish or whatever. That's pretty cursed.
Yeah, that's
I'm pretty happy with how cursed that's
pretty cursed.
All right. Do you have another curse? I don't know how we evaluate them other than, yeah, pretty cursed.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
is there a purpose? Like, are we trying to accomplish something other than just cursedness?
I mean, are we trying to accomplish something is kind of the central question of this podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So I would say no.
Okay, what about...
Because we're not actually going to... This is our podcast. We're not actually going to make any of these podcasts, are we?
Well, we might.
We're not going to make any of these dogs.
I hope we're not going to make any of these dogs because that would be some like fucked up Frankenstein shit. And also...
If we did make this podcast, I would say we would pick the most cursed one.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I don't even remember what
I was
gonna
just
say.
really excited about this.
Yeah, no, what are you going to say?
If we did make this podcast, we could decide which one was the most cursed of the episode, and then you draw it.
Okay, yeah, that's something, I guess. That's
Yeah.
kind of something. I'm not sure.
I mean, we could do that for this episode.
Yeah, potentially. I'm not sure how much legs, I guess. Okay, a dog with a lot of legs. A dog with
That's where I was
dozens of
immediately
legs.
going to.
Yeah, but I don't know because like
Oh, could your dachshund have a bunch of extra legs?
it's a centipede,
like a little centipede
or millipede dachshund.
Yeah, millipede dachshund.
I think that's a different kind of cursed. That's also good, but I also just like a really long dachshund with just two legs at either end, and it's like a city bus or whatever. It goes around corners like
accordion
separately.
style.
Yeah.
Does it have an accordion middle?
No, but it's made out of.
Could it have an accordion middle?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's made out of organic material, not metal, so it doesn't necessarily need that to bend like a bus does.
Yeah.
But maybe. But what I was gonna say is like I don't know how much legs this has.
I mean, it doesn't need an 8-foot long spine either, but
right.
Got one of those.
But there's no like constraints. You know, there's nothing to like sort of point us in a good direction. We can kind of go anywhere. What about a beagle with ears all over it, floppy ears everywhere?
Extra floppy ears?
Like
Where would they go?
they're on its back, they're on its legs, they're on its snout. I don't know, all over the place.
I mean, it doesn't feel as cursed as the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if they're all flopped over? So it's like you see the inside. A dog that's ears are always flopped over is kind of cursed.
Yeah. It's just got inside out ears.
I guess. An inside out dog. That's pretty cursed.
That's pretty cursed.
Someone cursed that dog to be inside out. What are some kinds of dogs that are good or interesting? Corgis? You could also do an 8-foot long corgi. They're not quite wiener dogs, but they're kind of similar.
Yeah, but is that more cursed than...
No, it's still pretty cute, I think, actually. Because corgis are super cute, whereas dachshunds, I feel like, are right on the edge. They're still cute, but like it wouldn't take that much to put them over.
Corgi face on any dog, it's gonna be cute.
Probably. And those big bad ears.
Yeah.
Okay, what about...
the French bulldog with 8-foot ears?
Okay, are they just long or are they
Long and big.
really big?
Yeah.
Proportionally
They're
big.
4 feet wide, 8 feet tall.
Okay, interesting.
I'm very sleep deprived.
I don't know how they would both fit on the little head.
That's a good point.
What about a corgi?
Okay, I guess they just have to be really tall.
What about a corgi?
But they stick straight up. They don't lay down.
What about like a llama, but its neck is a corgi?
What?
So like a corgi face and then a corgi body, but it becomes like a neck for a bigger animal.
So it's a corgi face and a corgi body, but a llama neck?
Like the neck is the corgi's body. So it's got a longer body, like you took the body and stretched it. I guess you took off the legs and put them on the bottom. And then there's like a bottom part of the body.
Look, I have aphantasia. I can't picture this.
Okay. I feel like it would be creepy if you knew what I was saying.
It sounds like it would be creepy, but I'm unable to piece it together.
Maybe I'll have to draw that one and put it on our Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. I think like the fact that this doesn't have constraints, is there a way that we could like take prompts or something?
Yeah, or like, I don't know, somehow have a goal in mind. Like there are the dog. Maybe we're trying to come up with 2 cursed dogs that will fight. Oh no, dog fighting's not great.
Nah, we don't want to go that direction. I don't.
Probably not. The race. They would race maybe.
I mean, the very tall greyhound.
The tall greyhound's probably, but it's got a lot of joints to
yeah,
to
but
navigate.
Like, it doesn't have to take very many steps to be pretty far.
Yeah, but ahead. the super Shar-Pei could just be rolling all down the track.
The super Shar-Pei is not winning.
But if the tall greyhound like gets all tangled up in its creepy spider legs, maybe it would actually go badly.
All right. Well, out of the dogs that we've come up with this time, should we pick which one is the most cursed? Do we have a title for this?
I think we should talk about the title. Because we only really came up with 2 or 3 dogs.
Cursed canines,
designer dogs, dog designer, dog factory.
No, I shook my head and I just realized this is an audio medium.
Can't hear that. I feel like there's maybe something along the lines of dog factory that could be good. Pooch parade.
That just makes me think of hot dog factory, and then it just makes me think we're turning the dogs into meat.
Also cursed.
Yeah, but in a worse way.
A dog that's like as big as a cow, and it's
like cursed canines.
I don't know. It's a little on the nose.
Like
I guess.
Alliteration.
Yeah.
Dogs are us.
God inventing dogs. Like
dog god.
Dog god. God dog. Dog god.
Dog gods. Give us your naming suggestions.
It'll be too late because I've already named the podcast episode.
Oh, okay. Well, so we got to come up with a title, or we don't have a title for this episode.
Well, I'll just make something up if we don't, or I'll take my idea that I liked and you didn't like.
Dog factory.
Yeah, or something.
I mean, I guess I don't really care, but
that's what we did that week. That the idea was called "Feel Me Up, Scotty." It's a little bit like Monster Factory, I guess, but dogs.
Bark, bark, motherfucker.
I don't know if you can have motherfucker in your podcast title name.
You put an asterisk in there.
Yeah, maybe.
Barking up a cursed tree.
Barking up a cursed tree. That's not too bad. What are other words for dogs? Canine, pooch,
doggo.
Doggo, pupper. Pupper factory. Doggo factory.
Wrongo Doggos.
Wrongo Doggos. I kind of like that actually. Wrongo Doggos. It's pretty bad, but it's also kind of good.
Well, and that's kind of what these dogs are, right?
They're pretty much just bad, I think.
But kind of good.
I mean, they're probably good boys.
Yeah.
Despite
they're
being
good
very
if you
bad.
like cursed things, which
we do.
We do.
To be fair.
Yeah.
We could still just call this one.
Wrongo Doggos is pretty fun.
Yeah. We could just still call this one Give Me Your Teeth. It a little bit makes sense. Because dogs have teeth. I don't know. Maybe we're breeding a dog that's all teeth. Or has no teeth? Oh, one of those.
It has teeth like that one scene in Doctor Who of Neil Patrick Harris.
Which one?
Where he's just got like...
way too many teeth.
Way too many like extra tiny teeth.
Yeah, that was so weird because like they didn't remark upon it or like call it out anyway. He just like smiled big and it looked weird, but like
then we paused it and he had like way too many
teeth, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, a dog with like 100 teeth or like 1,000 teeth.
1,000.
Dog with
Instead of toenails, it's got little teeth.
little teeth. Its eyes are like the what's it called in Sandman? The Corinthian.
Oh, yeah.
It's got like teeth,
Yeah.
mouths instead of eyes.
Yeah. Maybe that's what the Shar-Pei has under its folds.
I think the Shar-Pei is just a cave beast. It has white eyes. I think that was good. I don't know. If we just combine all the creepy things, does that make it more creepy or kind of less creepy? If there's too many things, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what if the wolfhound was really tall and also covered in wrinkles and also had way too many ears and
It's
way
a
too many
greyhound.
teeth?
Thank you very
What
much.
did I say?
Wolfhound.
Oh, sorry, greyhound. Or if it's a girl, it's a gray bitch, as we learned.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we threw that one out.
Okay, we could.
The name, not the dog.
We could use that name generator to name our dogs.
We could.
Yeah. Put in the correct type of dog.
Yeah.
Whether it's a hound.
What is the correct type of dog?
Well, there's greyhounds, gray bitches, hounds.
No, I mean, what is the
bitches,
correct type
and
of dog
terriers
for these monstrosities that we've created?
Right, yeah.
What's the base dog?
They transcend categorization.
We'll have to go with the base dog.
I guess so, yeah. All right, well, I guess Wrongo Doggo it is. And
I'm going to just start saying that now. If you say something incorrect. Wrongo Doggo.
okay. I'm
going to do finger guns.
It reminds me of the Devo song, Jocko Homo.
I don't know that one.
Oh, Jocko Homo? No, don't know.
No.
Okay. It's a good song.
Okay.
I don't know what it means, but it's a good song. Anyway, should we wrap up the podcast?
Yes.
Want to do some social media stuff?
Yeah, let's get on Facebook and that'll be good audio. Now, you can find all of our links to our social media on our website, which is coolpodcast.website. You can email us at what@coolpodcast.website. And please send us your ideas, rate us, subscribe. Most importantly, please send us your ideas. We really want to talk about them and give you a shout out on the show. And they will probably be better than our
Wrongo
ideas.
Doggo.
Than Wrongo Doggos. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Welcome to What Should This Outro Be About? The outro where we try to figure out what this outro that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm still here.
And I'm also still here.
Do you have any ideas for this time?
Ant facts.
Ant facts. Okay. I don't know a lot of ant facts. Ants are wasps, I think. Or
Are
like
they?
part of the same order or whatever as wasps. I think. Pretty
I
sure.
guess I could see the resemblance.
Yeah. They're kind of just wasps without wings, sort of. I mean, there's a lot of kinds of ants.
That's a good ant fact.
A good ant fact. There's lots of them. Do you know about the velvet ant?
No.
It's kind of like one of the cuter ants. It looks velvety and fuzzy, and it's also one of the most dangerous ants. It's got like a bite or a sting or whatever that like is one of the most painful feelings on earth, apparently.
Yee.
Or something like that.
Not around here, I take it.
No, I feel like they live in South America or someplace.
They got all the dangerous bugs.
Yeah, they did. The little guys that were in here definitely weren't velvet ants.
Yeah,
So,
they didn't look particularly velvety.
No, and velvet ants are kind of big too. Like
Yeah, these
like
were little
big. Like some
little
ants are
tiny guys.
Yeah, some ants are like the size where you can see all their parts, like their head and their abdomen and thorax and whatever. And some ants are just little black dots that walk around, right? Like
Which is the kind that we
little
had.
long dots. Yeah.
Like, no, that period is moving.
Yeah. They're kind of like long. They're not exactly just a dot, but you can't tell much.
That comma is moving.
Yeah, okay. They're commas. That single quote is moving.
Ants are little commas. Ant fact.
Ant fact.
Ant facted. Ants don't get sick.
They get even.
No, they they don't get sick. You know what? Because they have little antibodies.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you've told that joke on this podcast before.
Well, everyone wanted to hear it again.
That's true.
Because it's the best.
But also they get even. I mean, we could look up some ant facts or we could just make more up, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess this is what we're doing for the outro is ant facts.
Oh, okay. We did that. I guess
Because
so.
that's what we're doing. I'm going to Google ant facts. And
What
see
is the
comes up.
best ant?
Larry.
No, it's the ant from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, in my mind, he's named Larry.
Is that true? Is that what you were thinking of?
Actually, I was thinking about that earlier when I was talking about ants. You could see their parts.
Wasn't his name just Auntie?
Probably.
I think his name was
I
just
don't
Auntie.
remember. What are 5 interesting facts about ant? That's what the title says. Fact 1, colonies are bigger than the average ant farm. Not interesting. Fact 2, ants have specific jobs. Not interesting. Fact 3, ants don't have ears. Okay. Fact 5, ants can sometimes become zombies. Oh, I skipped 4. Only one ant species is exclusively female. Ants can lift 10 to 50 times their body weight. These are all everybody knows these. These are the most boring ant facts.
You decided to do
All right,
this.
I'm finding 10 cool facts about ants. There are over 12,000 species of ants in the world.
That's a lot of ants.
That's kind of a lot. That's what I said earlier. The bullet ant is said to have the most painful sting in the world. That's the one that's just above the velvet ant. It's the bullet ant. Fire ants cause over $3 billion worth of damage every year.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Ants are the longest living insects.
How long did they live?
Unlike some bugs who might only live for days or even hours, the queen ant of one particular species, the Pogonomyrmex ohii, can live up to 30 years. That's a long time for an ant to live. Yeah.
I guess so. I guess I don't know what
I feel like
the average ant.
I mean, a lot of bugs
lifespan.
only live a couple days and stuff, right?
Well,
or a couple months or whatever.
Is that because they just get squished?
No, I think like mayflies or whatever, like their whole life cycle is like one day or whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know about the mayfly, but I didn't know that I guess maybe I knew that, but
okay.
I didn't really think about it.
Ants hold the record for the fastest movement in the animal kingdom. The aptly named species of trapjaw ant can close its jaws at 140 miles an hour.
Whoa.
Which it uses to kill its prey or injure predators. Image if that bit you on the bum. That's what it says. This is National Geographic. Image if that bit you on the bum.
Is there supposed to be an image there?
No, it's supposed to be imagine.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought you were reading me an image tag or something.
No.
Anyway.
Ants don't have ears and some of them don't have eyes. The largest ant's nest ever found was over 3,700 miles wide in Argentina.
I take it back. This was not a good idea.
Well, it's too late now. Listener, you now know some things about ants that are arguably interesting.
Possibly more interesting than my home improvement podcast.
Maybe on par. They
Anyway.
were sort of related since your home improvement podcast is partly about how to get rid of ants.
An ant with a bulldog head.
Uh-huh.
Is that anything?
Is it a full-size bulldog and a regular-size ant as well?
Yes.
So it's just like a bulldog head kind of moving around without any apparent locomotion.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's plausible as long as it's only 10 to 50 times the ant's own weight.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. As long as it's a very light bulldog head.
Maybe it's hollow on the inside.
It's hollow on the inside.
It's like one of those like, it's like how some things have like big eyes painted on them to look scary. This is not a real bulldog head. It's just a big, scary looking bulldog head to frighten away
This ant
predators.
has evolved a bulldog head to scare off predators.
Exactly. Yep. So that's the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Mm-hmm. If you're still here, we appreciate it.
If you're still here, we appreciate you and we're sorry.
Yep. And we won't do better next time.
Thanks
for listening. Bye.
Bye.
What was that podcast about? I'm trying to figure